Hey guys, so it's me, Rachel. Today I just kind of wanted to make it a sit down advice sort of video because I know that it is the second week into January, and I know that we're probably all on our schedules and trying to make improvements within our life and stuff like that. I specifically wanted to talk about moving out and budgeting when you're on your own. So I thought I'd give some tips and advice on that. First off, I was 18 when I moved out of my house. It's like moved out of my house, the traditional toxic family, quote unquote, relationship. I knew I had to get out of that environment, and it was really hard for me. So I first off wanted to start off with that. Right now I'm 20. I'm 20 years old. I go to school and I work full time. I wanted to say, first off, I was 18 and I had no money. None. I had like a couple $100s stored away, and that's actually what I used to get everything started. I rarely had help. My mom did send me money here and there, but it wasn't something to where it was like, wow. But I almost killed my fish. And it just wasn't like, I don't know, the best sort of situation. I'm not gonna ramble or anything. It's gonna be a quick little video, but basically a couple $100s, and was struggling, and I got my phone taken away. I had my car taken away. I had my home taken away. So basically everything stripped. The only thing I could take with me was the belongings that I had, which I'm, I guess, grateful for, so I don't have to like buy clothes and walk around naked, I guess. Anyways, technically, they can kick you out because you're 18, so. And I just graduated high school. So I actually just turned 18 2 months after I got kicked out. So technically I was 17, but we'll go for 18 just to not make it complicated. I wanted to first say it's okay to live in a not so lavish lifestyle. I see so many kids my age living in penthouses and condos, and I'm like, how do you afford that? Like, no hate on them. I wish I could afford it. But I'm just trying to explain you don't always have to look rich. And it's more importantly about getting a roof over your head. I'm not saying sleep in a dumpster, but I'm just saying it can be a decent apartment, an affordable apartment, or an affordable house if you can find one. In the area at the time, I could not find any. They're all, geographically, they're all very expensive. So I lived in a $495 apartment, but I kind of messed up because it had nothing included, and it was a townhouse. And I picked a townhouse because it was cheap, $495. It actually looked decent. The outside was all on, the inside was actually pretty. It was the type that was modern on the inside. The problem with it though, nothing included, so you have to keep in mind, I wrote a little list because I do have a budget planner. It was about $100, $100 to $150 for the utilities. It was $55 for the Wi-Fi, and so that already is over $500. I'm leaning $600 in rent every single month. So you have to make sure you're working to sustain that lifestyle and get a job. So I found a job in a week. I was like, okay, if I'm gonna move out since I got kicked out, I have to find a job. They gave me a week time frame to do everything I needed to do. I found a job. Phone situation. For my phone, I actually went to Walmart. I didn't buy a brand iPhone Max 11. No, I went and bought a used, refurbished iPhone 6 from Walmart, which was $60. Got a straight talk line, which was $45, and ran with it. Because right now that I'm more financially stable, my phone bill is $160 because I have Apple Watch and an iPhone. I'm about to pay it off. I just, didn't want to. But anyway, I'm just kidding. I could pay it off if I want to, but I'm just kind of chilling. My phone bill is $160 versus $90 to $100, and that makes a huge difference because it really does add up. Car. The trickiest. This is where I say I didn't entirely do it by myself because my grandparents co-signed for me. If not, I would not have been able to. So I really suggest you get some credit on yourself because you never know. Get yourself a little student discover card. and run with it, or a Capital card and run with it, because you, not run with it, but be responsible. But I'm just saying, build your credit while you're young, be responsible. What I did, which I have a credit card now, I have a Discover student card. What I do is I spend it on gas and food, and then I pay it off immediately. I pay it in full. I don't really carry it over or anything. I just pay it off. Another thing I did was I started a savings account, because it's very important to have a savings account and an emergency fund. There are two different things. You want to have at least $500 in your emergency fund, and you want to have a savings account of $1,000. That is just to start with. I know you're like, that's insane, but what I did was I put $50 a week away, and before I knew it, I had a nice sustainable savings account. And it's about 2 years later, and you know, bills get ahead of us. I am almost at 10,000. That is my goal, to have 10,000. I'm really close, but it's very important to be disciplined, because it's so easy to get fixated over things that don't matter and that are materialistic. So, but for the car situation, I had a co-signer. I didn't buy the newest, brandest, cheapest car on the lot. I actually have a quirky green car that I absolutely love. It cost me about $9,000. I paid off my car in less than a year, so exactly 11 months. I had to go to a dealership. You don't always have to have the option, but I knew, me personally, you can either get a little hoopty car, totally okay. I was actually gonna do it, but then I realized that I myself am not that good at looking at cars, so I will probably buy something that will end up costing me the same amount in the end, because I keep having to take it to the auto shop. So I went ahead and saved myself the trouble and bought myself a new car, which I actually went into the dealership and I said, what's the cheapest car on this lot? I wasn't looking for something exquisite. They pointed me to a 2012 Mazda. They're pretty good on reliability. I mean, obviously a Toyota and stuff like that is better, and a Honda, but I'm not really, Toyotas are pretty affordable, but they didn't have any on the lot at the time. There's only select cars. I went to a reputable dealership, one that I looked up the reviews, went to multiple, compared prices, because I did not want to get scammed. This is the best deal I can get. It had about 18,000 miles on it, which is very good. That's why it was kind of on the pricier end, but I wanted a reliable car that I could have at least until I graduate out of college, and I can, whatever, treat myself to a new car or whatever. But I'm a very minimalistic person. I used to be materialistic, but I realized that it just, I don't have the lifestyle, the patience, or the energy to even be like that. Personally, for me, I like to keep it simple. But yeah, I paid about $1,200 a month on my car, $1,000 to $1,200. That's how I was able to pay it off in 11 months. So in the end, I saved money because I didn't pay as much interest. I think I paid like $200 or $300 in interest in that time. So, because I had a 5-year loan, and that's another tip. You can do an extended amount of loan, but just remember, you can pay it off way sooner. You don't have to pay that certain amount that they give you. You can pay it off. And that's what I suggest you do. Even if you have $20 extra dollars, put it towards that. Don't buy things you don't need. Be in the mentality of, it's not my money, so I need to pay it off. Because you just got to. And insurance. I had such a difficult time with insurance that I can say it was very hard for me. With the insurance I got was State Farm. They're kind of a pain to deal with in the beginning, because they offer you so many discounts and codes and promotions that if you don't do it correctly, you will end up paying more to use the discounts than not. So I had a Beacon, for instance. Oh, that Beacon can save you lots of money, $60 extra a month in most cases. But if you don't put in the right address, or they don't send it to the right location, it will take an X amount of extra time to get it. And by then, they will take that promotion off. You get your Beacon, you update it, and then they'll put it back on and charge you for it. So that is something they kind of like to play around with that I didn't like, but I'm currently still with them. I kind of got over it. It's the cheapest I can find. I pay about $107 now in my insurance, and that's pretty good for me living and being on my own insurance. And I also have, next tip, renter's insurance. Especially if you don't live in the best neighborhood, you need to have renter's insurance, because if someone robs you and your stuff is gone, it's going to be very hard, or damages the property, OMG. At the end of the day, you are held responsible and liable for that. And I really suggest that you invest in a $9-10 insurance policy through renter's insurance, And some apartment complexes require it. Mine didn't. Says a lot. It was a minimum of $100,000 coverage that you have to have. Sometimes they, you know, make you do that, but that's another tip. Renter's insurance, and have insurance full coverage on your car. Please don't do that, because I know you're like, but that's an extra $20 to $50 a month, like, for full coverage. Okay, well, you're gonna be looking really stuck when you get in an accident and you only have liability on your car, and now you're screwed because you have no way of getting around or paying for that job or apartment or anything else. So I highly recommend that. My other tip I have for you is have multiple sources of income. Don't just go to work and call it a day. Like, I know it's really scheduled, but you have to work hard, especially when you have bills, and do the things you do, of course. But just while you're getting started, I did DoorDash on the side, and I recommend it all day. Keep in mind the tax cuts, or the tax part of it, because they will send you a W-2 for you to fill out. But just kind of, they offer tax cuts, so basically write everything off. The mileage, the gas, the etc., anything you can. I got new tires, I got an oil change, put that in there because it factors in how many taxes you pay. I think it's over like the 300 mark. You have to start paying for taxes. But anyways, DoorDash is a lifesaver. I would be $100 short on rent. DoorDash, make $300 in 2 days, 2-3 days. Now you have extra money to put in your savings or your car or anything like that. Now, on to this. Have a budget planner, please. I'm not saying I'm perfect with money, but I can definitely say I'm better than most at my age. A lot of my friends, some are better than me. Obviously, we all, whatever. Some friends spend erratically where it gives me a headache. I'm like, girl, just like, I don't have enough money for rent, but I'm gonna go to Goodwill. I was like, oh, okay. Sure. But yeah, I have this budget sheet. I write down any spending I have so I can calculate it at the end of the month, because you write down basically like a projected of what you normally spend, and obviously we'll probably spend more and sometimes we'll spend less. So it's very important to track your stuff and your bank statements with this. This is at Walmart. It's literally like $7 or $9, and I use it every single month. So I definitely encourage you to be consistent on that. And basically, just enjoy the freedom of living on your own. It's very important to realize that you have a level of responsibility. It's important to maintain that responsibility and not get evicted, because I do have friends that have moved out and end up getting evicted out of their homes, and it's very unfortunate because they kind of don't know how to budget properly and they can't afford their bills. And especially since COVID hit, it's been very hard. Fortunately, I had a job that let me work 12 hours a week, and I made about $600 every 2 weeks, so I was able to afford my bills while doing DoorDash on the side. But I know everyone didn't have that luck. I had a friend that got fired because of COVID and could not find work for months. Unemployment slow, and she risked getting evicted, but DoorDash also saved her. I know I sound like an ad, I promise I'm not, but DoorDash and Postmates like that really does save some lives and in terms of money. But anyways, I just wanted to give like an overview of some tips, because I know living on your own or trying to move out, that transition is hard. But please, if you are stripped like me, don't look for things that are the expensive, and don't get fixated in the idea of having super nice things. Of course you can have nice things, but you don't have to have the nicest things all the time. You have to look at your account and realize, I can't have nice things right now, but I will work up to that, because that is a responsible thing to do. And yeah, I also wanted to ask you guys, did you guys want to see a journey of living in an RV life? One of my dreams is to live in an RV and teach online and travel. I mean, I know a lot of people do that, but I wanted to too. Blatant terms, but I just want to be happy. And that's what I'm talking about, the minimalistic life, because I am like that now. And living in an RV, I'd rather, I guess, sacrifice comfort for lifestyle and happiness. So yeah, so if you guys want a video on that journey and how to, and how much I end up spending, correlation, stuff like that, then please watch me. Not please watch me, but please comment that you want to watch that. But yeah, hopefully this isn't too lengthy. Please listen to what I have to say. I kind of know what I'm talking about on certain things. Don't mind me, I'm not an expert, but just from my personal experience, I want to help people who struggled like me, because I had no one help me. I didn't really look on YouTube because I felt like I couldn't relate the same on what they were saying. It seemed very unrealistic and not really day-to-day advice that I could actually utilize, but I hope that this helps, and I hope that even if you learned one thing, it will help you on your journey to living on your own, moving out, and all that stuff. Anyways, bye.